Hello all. In this video, we would like to discuss about a brief comparison between commonly used programming languages. For that, we have selected the languages like C, C++, Java and Python. C and C++ languages are the type of compiled based, whereas Java is uses both compilation and interpretation. Since it is to be work with bytecode, so both compilation and interpretation are required in Java. Whereas in Python, it is a purely a interpreted programming language. And as we know, there are two types of programming paradigms. One is procedural, another one is object oriented. C is the best example for procedural oriented programming. C++ comes under object oriented, Java also object oriented, and Python supports object oriented and at the same time procedural also. In order to execute the programs in any language, there are some reserved words called keywords are required. In C, it is 32 keywords are there, whereas in C++ 50, in Java 63, and in Python 33 keywords are existing. If we consider the security terms, C has less data secure. C++ is somewhat secure. Java is meant for fully secure. Python also a secure language. In order to store the information executed by any language, we need to connect it to the database. C and C++ languages does not support database connectivity. For that, there is a file system to store the information. Whereas Java and Python fully support database connectivity. We can store the data by connecting it to any database like SQL or MySQL, etc. Whereas variable declaration comes into picture in C, C++ and Java, we need to declare the variables specifically. But in Python, variable declaration is not required. If you work with any type of language, memory management is very important. The memory management in C can be done using manually. In C++ also the same. There is a garbage collector in Java which destroys the objects which are no longer used. But in a Python, there is a reference count method. Based on that reference count method, it quickly deallocates the memory whenever the objects are not in use. The C, C++ and Java, if you write any statement, that should end with semicolon. That is not required in Python. Again, if you want to store or set a block of statements representation, there should be represent in between curly brackets. But in Python, it can be done using indentation. For all the languages, inputs and outputs are common. For that, we will use input and output statements. Scanf and printf are the input statement and output statements in C. Cin and cout for C++. Scanner and system.out.println in Java. In Python, input statement is input, output statement is print. Now, platform independency and dependency comes into picture. C and C++ behave same. They are platform dependent. But Java and Python are platform independent. In C, there is no support for class. In C++, functions and variables are used outside the class. In Java, everything, every line will be inside of a class. In Python, functions and variables can be declared and used outside of the class also. C files have .c extension. C++ has .cpp extension. .java extension will be supported by Java programming language. .py will be supported by Python language. Operating system, if you want to develop any operating systems or device drivers, C programming can be used. If you want to develop any system programming, C++ will be used. Java is meant for web applications, e-commerce applications, Windows applications, etc. Python is for artificial intelligence, mainly for artificial intelligence. In fact, the buzzword artificial intelligence in the recent days, which got more into picture only because of Python language. And except C, all the remaining languages are following a bottom-up approach, but C follows a top-down approach. Python is expressive language, means if you want to achieve any task with some certain lines of code, Python will achieve the same task with very less lines of code as compared with any of the language. That is the expressive nature of the Python. Java is also expressive but less than Python, whereas C and C++ are not considered to be expressive in nature. Python follows auto typecasting. That means we can convert one variable to data type to another variable data type, which is default, but in the case of remaining languages, we need to follow some certain guidelines to perform typecasting. If you want to write the code, Python will take less number of LOC, but in the case of C, C++, more LOC is required. Java is somewhat moderate code exist. All the languages are high level languages only. And if you want to show some comments, different languages follows different style. C and C++ follows a header files, but in the case of Java and Python, header files are not required. Python will take care about the same job. Thank you. These are some of the comparisons between the most commonly used languages.